He's gonna fucking nuke all of them off the face of the earth, like. And I was like, oh, you go into the conflict, these men are that fucking committed. This, and this is the thing is, the Lord, like that got put on ice for a bit, but now it's all coming out, because even like the late 90s, you had as well like the fall of the Soviet Union. It was like, it seemed like all this kind of calmed down, but then after you had like 9/11, the war machine started grinding back up. And then the economic collapse, and it's like, hey, it's everything's being prepared, for this time, man, for things to go down. Cause okay, let me find the bit that I was looking for. Okay, so it says Boris Johnson also I skipped down a bit. Boris Johnson also condemned the violence. The UK Prime Minister wrote on Twitter, "I am deeply concerned by the scenes of violence in Northern Ireland, especially attacks on PSNI, who are protecting the public and businesses. Assault on a bus driver and the assault of a journalist. The way to resolve differences is through dialogue, not violence or criminality." My nigga, if saying that was enough, then you wouldn't have needed like the fucking Good Friday Agreement in the first. These guys are some irate Irishmen. So it says the Irish Foreign Minister Simon Courtenay said, "Calm and positive leadership needed from all." Footage circulating on Twitter appeared to show the bus being petrol bombed while still moving. This is what, like, bro, where, man, in Europe, where the fuck, or America, where, man, petrol bombing just buses that are moving? You used to have little old ladies on there and shit, and man's just petrol bombing. These guys are crazy, while still moving, with about a dozen masked people, including some who seemed to be children, being cheered on as they ran from the scene. The driver was reportedly uninjured. Yeah, so it's like, what? Stormfront Infrastructure Minister Nicola Mallon told the BBC the bus driver was shaken, but thankfully he wasn't hurt, and thankfully there were no passengers. Oh, there's no passengers. So yeah, that's how wild it's getting. And that's the thing, it's not even something that's just limited to one area. In general, Europe, I think, where is it? There's a few countries in Europe where they're doing.
Recently had something with the police.
Yeah,
because of the lockdown or something like that.
Yeah, I think
the restaurants, Italian restaurants.
Italian restaurant. There's a few because it's like I think the Swiss were doing it. There's more at least Spain was doing it.
Maybe France even as well.
France was doing like them man were doing the yellow vest for like over a year.
Okay, yeah.
Before lockdown anyway. So them man have just been like on it, and the thing is they've been having that enforcement on them as well, because they had from way back when they were getting the terror attacks way back. They had people just like police officers, military really, just personnel, snipers, all that, Belgium as well. So it's all this it's been building up, man, and you can see when you go into okay, you got something?
Yep, I appreciate it. Going into dealing with the Irish. Daniel's 2:40 says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all things shall it break in pieces and bruise." Alright, and the fourth kingdom is being spoke of right here is dealing with Rome, alright, the Roman Empire, because they had a mighty army. Alright, and when you really deal with the statue in itself, it goes from gold, silver, brass to iron. Alright, and what you find is the gold is a superior in terms of value. The statue from top to bottom decreases in value, but it also increases in density as you go down the statue. So gold is the least dense, most malleable metal basically, but it's the most expensive, and so on and so forth till you get down to iron. So iron in that has great strength in its density. This density basically represents the military might and also the great expansion of that kingdom. All right. So that's why it says, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. All right. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part of iron. kingdom shall be divided. Alright? So that's what's as you were speaking about the different things going on, that's the division being shown forth in his kingdom, alright? Dealing with NATO and the EU. There's a great divide between the nations. Alright? And the potter's clay and the iron is basically really talking about the pigs. Portugal, Italy, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. They're the weak parts of the NATO and the EU. All right. So reading on it says, and there shall be in it of strength of the iron. When you deal with nations like Germany, France, the UK. All right. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And that's where you get the Brexit as well. Brexit is proof of that. Alright? They didn't mix. And even now you're having an outfall of all of that right now. Most of the agreements being sought out right now. You have something going on. I recall with dispute dealing with the English Channel, and you got different things going on over there in terms of the fishermen. They're finding out the deal that they thought they were gonna get isn't working out the way they thought it'd work out, and even so, a lot of countries that used to profit by going down to the English Channel and basically. Well, let me even say it like this. Actually, the nations that used to go down there, I believe it's the Dutch and the French, they basically used to go down to the English Channel to do their fishing. They can't go there no more. And to the point where England has had to dispatch the Navy, submarines and whatnot and ships, basically to cordon off that land, that sea, sorry. They pulled their partition of the sea. So now you're having disputes break out between the Dutch and the French that could also lead to a little skirmish or battlefront playing out, alright? So that really just shows you the divide, just as you said dealing with Ireland, the divide between, you was talking about Northern Ireland and Ireland, right? It's the same thing. All across the board, you're having these different skirmishes break out, but this is all prophecy playing out. And this really just shows you what time we're in. We're in the time of the end, alright? There's no two ways about it. You got something?
Yeah, Matthew 12:25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Yeah, and that's what really has been witnessed for the longest, man. Because even you go back to like even World War One, World War Two, Esau's got a long history of just warring, skirmishing between all these different nations. That's how Esau gets a lot of shit done. Esau's his blessing was sword. War is that's in his nature, man. That's how he gets down. He destroys. He robs, he steals. So that's what you've seen, and that's why his rulership's decaying, eroding away. That's this guy's dreaming of going onto Mars or wherever, going into space, and then colonizing that and destroying that as well. But this guy can't even build a sustainable kingdom. You can't keep what he's got going on Earth running, man. This guy is there's things you need. It's like trees, water, like you need air, water, food, all these kind of basic things. This guy can't even run the planet to where these things are not an issue. Niggas charging you to drink water and shit. But then he's polluting all different kinds of water sources. He's destroying, forests and whatnot, and natural habitats and environments. You kind of need for the world to run.
Then Slug, go on.
You know what I'm saying? This guy doesn't really understand how he it says he's wiser than Daniel. But his nature is destruction as well. Even if it's like, you might just think, oh, well, you know, don't need this. So he's going to come in and basically destroy it or utilize it in some unsustainable way. But then what? In the end, it all comes back to bite you in the ass, man. Because what? It's all, you know, all that death and destruction that you're bringing, it's being suffered.
Quick precept to back up your point.
Correct.
Revelations 11:18, and the nations were angry, and their wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, being the elect of the nation of Israel. And that's the point. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Yeah, destroy them which destroy the earth. Because that's what Esau's one of Esau's biggest crimes, man. Destroying the earth. What, since he's come in power, you go back to the Industrial Revolution. That shit just has done all kinds of waste and destruction. You go around to all these. I remember watching a documentary years back, watching a documentary in like Eritrea and Ethiopia. These Italians, when they fucked off, they just left a bunch of fucking tanks, bunch of military hardware just rotting in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, that's how Esau kind of is. He's wasteful, destructive. Then it's just that, even with nuclear waste, man. It's like in The Simpsons, they used to make jokes about how like nuclear waste is just getting dumped any which way, and it's fucking up. That's where you get like the free eye fish.
Yeah, The Simpsons. Yeah.
They will show up, man. Because why? That's how Esau gets down. You know, recycling was meant to be this whole thing. Oh, we're saving the planet. Blah blah blah. I watched a YouTube video by some guy kind of going into it. How essentially that was only something that was done so that plastic could continue to be used. Plastic, which is one of the most destructive things created on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. You know, ingesting it is destructive. Leaving it in nature doesn't break down, so it's just completely destructive, man. You see fucking ducks and whatnot with like those 6-ring can holder things, all stuck in them. They say they're finding like tons of fucking plastic in like whale stomachs and all this. This is
plastic islands floating out there in the ocean as well.
Yeah. Then you got this motherfucker, David the Rothschilds, you know, making plastiki, making a boat out of it and sailing around. What the fuck is that accomplishing? These guys are the ones that are running the society. These guys are at the top. These guys could set basically fund and make like run sustainable systems. But no, destruction is part of it. Why? Because that greed as well. That's why it's like people really, even with the plastic, the solution was meant to be like, oh, now you got to pay for plastic bags. They ain't fucking stop shit.
Yeah.
Everyone and their grandmother's got a fucking 10 drawers full of fucking plastic bags. Because every time they forget one, they have to pay 5p for another one. Ain't stopping them using it.
It's just made it where capitalism.
Yeah, made it monetized it.
Which probably was really on the agenda.
Yeah.
I got another precept to back up your point.
Yeah.
So this is Isaiah 24:6. It reads, "Therefore have the curse." Let me read from verse 4. Actually, it's luckier. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And I hate it when you always find people online that will say, yeah, man, we fucked up. We ain't done shit, man. We didn't do nothing. Didn't create plastic. The elites in this world basically did that. The Edomites, man, they did that. Alright, and in doing so, what did they bring forth? Wickedness. That's why these curses. But then guess what? Hey, just like Malcolm X broke it down, you got house niggas and you got field niggas. So when you hear someone talking about that whole, we messed up the earth, you're basically taking on
Jake messed up the earth.
No, you have Jake that basically say like, we messed up the earth. Yeah, like everyone. No, you didn't. But when they say that, they're taking the covering of Egypt, taking the covering of their master. They're basically and really, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. You're basically gonna enter into that judgment because you've made yourself equal equally yoked with him. So anyway, it says in verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, alright, broken the everlasting covenant, the land Sabbath, all these different things, changed the calendar, changed the days of the year, alright, and transgressed the laws, the 613 biblical laws, alright, which they took upon themselves. Let's read Psalms 50 and 16 and verse 17 as well. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, alright, and that's why now you have also Zechariah 5 come into play, alright, because you have Yahweh, the angels basically watching this place and reminding Esau, Edom of their presence onto the day that's coming, alright, because when they see them chariots, they know what it means, alright, they know about the scriptures. Enoch spoke of it from the seventh of Adam. He spoke about the Yahweh Shai coming with his thousands of the angels, alright, and then he was beamed up by a chariot. So now, just like just like Enoch spoke of it, right, kept speaking about the chariot the whole time he was on the earth prophesying of it, and it was taken up by one. Now you have it on a greater magnitude where you see chariot signs all over the earth, alright? So it says, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and that's why you got all these plagues upon the earth like plastic and things of that nature. And they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned and few men left. Alright? I think I can grab one more unless you got something. Just a quick one.
I'll say grab it, because I've got to kick in like a few minutes though.
Alright, yeah. We'll close up in a minute. So it's Isaiah 14 and 8. This is when Esau's destroyed. The whole earth, 47 and 7. Isaiah 14 and 7 and verse 8. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us. Alright? And that's basically them talking about the trees are going to rejoice when Esau falls, because why? There's a fella's basically a lumberjack. So when it cuts down trees, they're going to say that no one's risen up to cut them down, basically. You got something? You want to close on something?
Yeah, I'll close that.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 28 and 6. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and shall defile thy brightness. And they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Yeah. So that's Esau's. He's filled with pride. Right now he's able, the planet's moving under his vibration. But all these things are being set up, what, for a purpose, man? Like it goes through early in that chapter, it's like, what? Esau's got his riches, he's filled with pride. Because why? All these plans are moving, man. He's been able to dominate the earth for, that little season that's mentioned in Revelation. But what's going to result in this? It's going to result in this place, nukes flying, man, on America, and judgment on Esau, and Esau going into hardcore bondage, man.
Can't.
But yeah.
Close it up.
Leave it on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shalom, Yabashim Yashai, Bashim Kakadash Rakata.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shai, Basham Rakah Kodash, Shalom.